right, so Colby grounded out to third, and Pate doubled. He's in that one. Oh, he could have gone. I think he'd have made it if he hadn't stopped. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I do believe we are back, at least for a short time. As we've said, the connection here is quite poor. We're trying to figure something out because, as I was saying that we weren't going to stop streaming, the stream cut out without us doing anything. So, unfortunately, that's something we can't control. So, we're just going to have to kind of fly by the seat of our pants here and figure something out. But for right, as Cal Campbell strikes out swinging for the second out of this inning. So for those of you who missed what happened, so Colby Ferris led off the inning, grounded out to third base. Pate Fullerton, the next left field line, as he's on third base right now. And John Graham singled and has since advanced on a wild pitch. Or, at the very least, was able to swipe second base. And so now, and as we all just saw, I believe, Cal Campbell did strike out swinging. So there are two out here with runners on second and third for the Chinooks, and Leo Harris stepping up to the plate. And I'm not exactly sure of what the count is at the moment. We'll hopefully get a sign from the umpire as Harris taps that one foul. I know that Harris has 2 strikes on him. I'm just not sure the ball count here, if it's 0 or 1 or whatever that may be. So, and the count is 1-2 according to the umpire. So Leo Harris in a big spot here, albeit early in the game for the Chinooks to possibly drive in 2 runs here. Let's see what he can do against Noah Matera, and he takes that pitch outside, so the count moves to 2-2. Harris has batted 9th in all 3 games thus far for the Chinooks. Out of the 9-hole, as that pitch is tapped foul. Count remains at 2-2. Had a bunt single in his last game, as several other of his teammates did. The Chinooks had great success bunting in their last contest. So it's going to be interesting to see whether or not the Chinooks go back to that here in this game. Obviously not in this scenario. And that's a good curveball from Matera as Leo Harris strikes out to end the inning. So the Chinooks leave 2 stranded here in the top of the second inning. And it is now up to Brandon Argamanis to put up a 0 in the bottom of the second for the Chinooks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back here in the bottom of the second inning for this game between the Chinooks and the Bucs. The score remains at 1-1 right here. As Argamanis fires, and that one's tapped out to third base. And Pate Fullerton fires across for out number 1. So a quick first out. And that first pitch is outside for ball 1. As Shane Simpson, the left fielder, steps up to the plate for the Bucs. He's in the 8 hole tonight. And that pitch is inside for ball 2 as the count moves to 2-0. And Argo fires, and that pitch is in there for a called strike. Count moves to 2-1. Again, we apologize for the inconvenience of the video broadcast. However, as that pitch is also tapped down to third base, Pate Fullerton coming on and makes a tough play and gets out number 2. 2 great plays from Pate Fullerton to start the inning. And Argamanis working quickly here in this one. Looking to bounce back from his rough first inning. He did work himself out of trouble, though. So, definitely the inning could have been a lot worse. And that pitch is downstairs for ball 1. As Luke Langness, the designated hitter for the Bucs, apparently wearing a different number than what we have on the score sheet. And that leads me to believe that that might not be Luke Langness. I'm not 100% positive now. I'll have to check with my sources. As that pitch is in there for a called strike 2, the count moves to 1-2. So, those of you at home, we will check that as soon as we can. As that pitch is swung on and missed, and a great inning from Brandon Argamanis. Quickly dispatches of the 7, 8, and 9 hitters for the Bucs. And the Chinooks look to keep that momentum going in the top of the third inning. And we are back here live on the Chinooks radio network. We're not sure how long we'll be live, but as of right now, we are still live. And just to clarify, for those of you who were listening in the last inning, that was indeed Luke Langness. He simply was just put down as a different number on the starting lineup. He is number 32 for the Bucs, so just to clear that up. Stepping up is Will Batts for the Chinooks, the leadoff hitter and center fielder, as that pitch from Noah Matera in there for called strike one. Once again, we do not know how long this stream will continue to hold us, as we simply cannot be held back from our greatness. I'm kidding. As that pitch is in there for a called strike two. No, unfortunately, as we've said multiple times, the internet here is lackluster at best. So therefore, we are not exactly sure how long YouTube will allow us to keep streaming if they are not getting enough data to hold the stream. As that pitch is tapped, struggles to field that one. He simply gives it to Mullins in the on-deck circle. Tough lefty-lefty matchup here for Batts, as that pitch is executed well, but just off the plate. Off the plate by about a ball and a half, I would say. It's hard to look from up here, but definitely where the catcher by the umpire there. And a curveball is tapped over to second base, and Pinellas fires and gets out number one here. So Will Batts is retired to open up the top of the third inning as John Mark Mullins steps up to the plate. He has had a good start to the season thus far, as in his last game, he reached base 3 times, twice on hits, and he reached base 3 times in the first game of the season as well. So on-base percentage is high thus far for Mullins, and he has played a great shortstop, making a lot of great plays, as that is a close call, but ball one. And the count moves to 1-0. And once again, we do apologize for the way the stream has been acting lately, as that pitch is tapped foul down the third base line. And I'm going to do the best that I can to be descriptive for what's happening. I know normally I just kind of call what I see, but I'm really going to have to go into some detail and treat this like a radio broadcast. So I will try my best here as Matera sets and fires, and that pitch is a fastball just outside. Count moves to 2-1 on John Mark Mullins, the shortstop this evening. And Matera sets and fires as that pitch is fouled. And the count moves to 2-2. Matt Magno on deck for the Chinooks as Matera fires and throws a nice curveball just outside. Good take by Mullins, as that is definitely a close call, but the umpire gives Mullins the benefit of the doubt as the count moves to 3-2. Another good at-bat here for Mullins, as in the business they would call this a quality at-bat. To third, nice play by Baccaro, and he fires on to first for out number 2. So good at-bat there from Mullins. Unfortunately, did not win the battle. So 2 ground outs to open the game for John Mark Mullins. Not the start he wanted, I'm sure. However, Matt Magno stepping up to the plate. He has had a good start to the season as well. Magno was able to reach base twice as he pops the first pitch of the at-bat out to right field. And Carrig makes the catch for out number 3. So the score remains tied at 1 apiece. And the Chinooks look to hold the Bucs off heading into the bottom of the third inning. And we are back here live on Chinooks Radio for this game between the Chinooks and the Bucs. And the score is tied 1-1 as Argomanis fires his first pitch in there for called strike. And it appears that the stream is doing a little bit better as we've tinkered with the settings a little bit. So hopefully you guys are getting at least some semblance of video as Argomanis fires, and that is just inside for ball one. Argo pitched a good second inning, quick 1-2-3, but now he's got to face the top of the lineup, and Xavier Pinellas would like to get himself on base to lead off this inning as the count moves to 2-1, and Argo fires, and Pinellas taps that down the left field line and out into the seats. And Argo working very quickly here as he fires the 2-2 and swing and a miss. Pinellas chased a high fastball there. Definitely wish he could have that one back, but for Argo, he will take it, as that is his second strikeout of the game and second strikeout in a row. And now Carson Roccaforte, the center fielder, who hit a base hit and came around to score in this one, as that pitch is in there for a called strike one. So Roccaforte again singled in the first inning and came around to score, as that pitch is hit foul down the left field line and into the seats. As Argo fires the 0-2, and that one's tapped down the third base line, also foul. Argo working very quickly here, definitely trying to get himself into a rhythm. And it's going to be interesting to watch what the Bucs do to try and get Argo out of his rhythm. As the 0-2 pitch is tapped over to second base, and Campbell with a good scoop there, and he fires on to first for the second out of the inning. So after a rough start to the game, Argomanis looks to be bouncing back rather quickly here, as he has retired 7 in a row after a walk to Cole Carrig in the first inning. He has retired 7 in a row. And in rather quick succession as well, as that pitch is in there for a called strike one to Jake Skipworth, who hit a double in the last inning. And Argo fires, and that pitch is ripped down the right field line and foul and into the seats. Watch your lips over there, fans. Definitely nobody wants any part of that missile over there. And Argo fires the 0-2 pitch, and a curveball didn't really curve there. And Skipworth had to duck out of the way. So the count moves to 1-2. And Argo fires, and a good curveball, strike 3. Skipworth goes down swinging. And Brandon Argomanis, after a rough first inning, has retired 8 in a row here. And in rather quick succession, the Chinooks will look to back him up going into the top of the fourth inning. we are back here live on Chinooks Radio for this game between the Chugiak Eagle River Chinooks and the Anchorage Bucs. Joe Keel, the catcher and cleanup hitter for the Chinooks, leading off this inning as the game is tied 1-1 as that pitch is tapped foul down the third base line. Both teams opening the ball game with a run in the first inning, as Will Batts led off the game with a single and came all the way around a score on what would eventually be a wild pitch. As Matera fires and just downstairs for ball one. And for those of you who are just joining us, we have had some problems with the stream here. But it appears to be getting a lot better as time goes on, as we've fiddled with some of the settings as Keel rips that one into center, but it hangs up just long enough for Carson Roccaforte to track it down in center field, and that will be out number one, and albeit a loud one. And Joe Keel, at this point, he has had several lineouts to start the season, and at this point, you got to wonder if he's starting to get frustrated. So Colby Ferris, the normal cleanup hitter, is stepping up to the plate. He's batting fifth today and playing his normal right field, as that pitch is just outside for ball one. And Matera sets and fires, and that pitch is also outside for ball two. So two misses in what looked to be pretty much the same location there for Matera. Has to make an adjustment here. And Ferris finds himself in a great count here to do some damage. And he takes a hack at that one and fouls it straight back. So the count moves to 2-1 on Colby Ferris. And Matera fires, and that pitch is also hit foul and out of play. Ferris digs in, looking to do some damage as Matera shakes off, gets the pitch he wants. He sets and fires, and that is a tapper foul just behind the catcher. Colby Ferris had a frustrating game for sure in yesterday's ball game, as that pitch is downstairs for ball three. So the count moves full. Colby Ferris, he had an at-bat where he definitely felt as if the umpire took the bat out of his hands. Had a check swing that the umpire didn't appeal and just gave him the strike. And then a pitch that seemed to almost hit Ferris as he hits that one high and deep to left field, but it looks like it's going to hang up just long enough as Shane Simpson, the left fielder, retreats to the warning track and makes the catch. Colby Ferris just missed that one as he takes the lap around the bases anyway, apparently. But that was a catch, so that will be out number two for the Chinooks here in the fourth. So a good swing by Ferris there, but unfortunately it does not result anything but allowed out number two as that pitch from Matera, good off speed. Looked to be some kind of slider there for strike one. As Pate Fullerton, who had a double in the last at-bat, steps up to the plate. Great swing on a lefty-lefty matchup. As, good pitch by Matera, but unfortunately does not get the call there as that pitch is outside for ball one. As Matera has to reset, looking visibly frustrated after that. And Matera sets and fires the 1-1, and that pitch is in there for strike two. Looked to be in a very similar spot to the last pitch, and that one gets the call. So the count moves to 1-2 on Fullerton as Matera sets and fires the 1-2 and downstairs for ball two. Count moves to 2-2. And the 2-2 pitch is swung on and missed. So a good pitch from Matera there as Fullerton goes down swinging to end the inning. A 1-2-3 inning for Matera in this one. And the Bucs look to take the lead going into the bottom of the fourth inning. But it's going to be a tall task because Brendan Argamanis was retired 8 in a row going into the bottom of the fourth. And we are back here live on Chinooks Radio here on YouTube for this game between the Chinooks and the Anchorage Bucs. As the cleanup hitter Cole Carrig leads off for the Bucs here against Brendan Argamanis, who has had a good start to the game here. He has retired 8 in a row after giving up a run in the first. Argamanis has tried to work quickly here in this one as his first pitch is popped into right field. That's going to be a tough play, but Ferris is there to make the catch for out number 1. So once again, a quick out number 1 for Argo here. And he has now retired 9 in a row. And one thing about Argo is you do not want him to get in his rhythm, and he definitely appears. And he is getting in a good rhythm as that pitch is tapped to short. And Mullins gathers and fires in a good play. So 2 pitches and 2 outs here for Brandon Argamanis. And you definitely have to love what you're seeing from Brandon Argamanis. He's keeping his pitch count low. And he is getting into a heck of a rhythm as he has mowed down the last 10 hitters he has faced here in this one. So Garrett Ostrander, the shortstop, grounded out to second base in his last at-bat, looking to probably take this first pitch, and he does for ball 1. For those of you who didn't get what I meant there, I more meant because there were 2 pitches and 2 outs. Generally, as a hitter, if you're the third guy, you want to take the first pitch no matter where it is, as that pitch is downstairs for ball 2. So even if that was a fastball right down the middle there, I would have been surprised to see Garrett Ostrander do anything other than take it there. But nonetheless, the count moves to 2-0. And that pitch is ripped to third. And Pate Fullerton gathers and collects the outs. So a 5-pitch inning for Brandon Argamanis. Talk about working fast. Can't go much faster than that. And Argamanis has retired 11 in a row going into the bottom of the fourth inning as the Chinooks look to retake the lead here in this one. And we are back here. Excuse me. We are back here live on the Chinooks Radio Network as the Chinooks and the Bucs are locked in a 1-1 ball game here going into the bottom of the fourth inning. It has flown by thus far. And John Graham, the left fielder for the Chinooks, stepping up to the plate to face Noah Matera, who has looked pretty good as that one's tapped foul down the third base line. He has looked pretty good in his own right to start this ball game, only allowing 3 hits in the first 4 innings. As I might have misspoken, I possibly said the top of the fourth. I did mean the top of the 5th inning. Excuse me if I did say 4th. I did mean 5th, as that pitch is swung on and fouled back. From John Graham. And this pitch from Matera is downstairs. And the count moves to 1-2 here. And Matera working solely out of the stretch here. Fire is inside for ball 2. John Graham definitely looking to work the count here against a pitcher who has worked pretty efficiently here to start this ball game, as he has retired 5 in a row. And Graham taps it down the third base line, and they're saying it hit Graham, but he appears to be okay. That ball did stay fair, so home plate umpire said, nope, that hit the batter, so that is a foul ball. Although we definitely have seen that over the years, called a fair ball. Famously, it happened to Miguel Cabrera several years ago, as this pitch is ripped down the third base line and foul, where he swung at a pitch and it clearly hit him in the front foot. And it rolled down the third base line, and the umpire said, nope, that didn't hit him. And Miguel Cabrera didn't even leave the batter's box, so he was out by quite a bit. As this pitch is downstairs for ball 3, so the count moves full. Good at-bat by John Graham, another quality at-bat. He's had plenty of those to start the season, although not all of them have resulted in, I'm sure, what he wanted, as Graham only does have 1 hit to open up the season, but a lot of his at-bats have resulted in quality at-bats, as that one's inside for ball 4. So a great at-bat from John Graham there, as he's able to start this top of the 5th inning with a walk. And now Cal Campbell stepping up to the plate. And he is making his first start of the season for the Chinooks. And Cal struck out swinging in his first at-bat in the first inning. Or excuse me, in the second inning. And he squares button. Wow, that pitch almost ran in and hit him, but he's able to pull back and get out of the way. So a good twofer there for Cal Campbell as he avoids injury and a strike. And again, as I said earlier, although many people might not have heard it as the stream's been cutting in and out, the Chinooks had success bunting yesterday. And that pitch is upstairs for ball 2. So Noah Matera not allowing Campbell to bunt here. And the catcher, Matt Erickson, will call time and look to have just a casual conversation with this pitcher there. Maybe changing up the signs or just going over what the next pitch is going to look like. And we will see if Coach Groth will continue to have Campbell bunt despite being a hitter's count, and it looks like he will. And a look over and a throw over to first base, and Graham gets back in plenty of time. Not a bad idea there for Matera, is perhaps knowing that there's a bunt, Graham might have just kind of wandered a little bit too far off first there, but Graham ready for that, and he gets back as Campbell. Wow, that one almost hits him, and it gets by Erickson, and Graham is going to take second with ease on that wild pitch that, again, almost hit Campbell. And Matera having trouble locating his pitches going on here. So the count moves to 3-0. And we will see if they will continue to let Campbell attempt to bunt, or if he will simply just take his base, or if a third option will happen. Anything's possible in the game of baseball. And Campbell not bunting, and he takes ball 4. So option B was the correct answer for those of you taking the multiple choice questionnaire, as Campbell takes a walk. So now there are 2 on and nobody out for Leo Harris, who, as I mentioned earlier, was one of the people who had success bunting last night in their ball game, or excuse me, yesterday afternoon, not last night. And Harris squaring to bunt here. And he gets it down the third base line. And not this time for Harris. He does not get the base hit, but he does execute a great sacrifice bunt there. So Leo Harris with a great sacrifice bunt there to move the runners into second and third. And so with 1 out and runners on second and third, up steps Will Batts, who has a base hit in his first at-bat and came around to score as that pitch is in there for called strike 1. Will Batts definitely looking to repeat his success in his first at-bat here, as that will definitely give the Chinooks all the momentum they've been looking for. And that pitch is way outside for ball 1. Excuse me, I almost said ball 2. And again, I do apologize for those who are attempting to watch our stream. I feel as if at this point it might be a feeble effort. And Matera sets and fires as that pitch is ripped down and out of play down the left field line. I'm doing the best I can to be as descriptive as possible, however. I am a bit inexperienced in the area, so again, I ask for your patience and kindness. As Matera's pitch is tapped to first base, and Graham has to hold as he applies the tag to Will Batts, and so a good play by Jake Skipworth of the Bucs to hold Graham at third and still get the out. And so that results in nothing, at least nothing positive, for the Chinooks, as John Mark Mullins steps up to the plate here. John Mark Mullins 0 for 2 to start the ball game here. And looking to get those runners home for the Chinooks, as time is called. And Matera quickly gets back on the mound. He sets, fires, and that pitch is outside for ball 1. Mullins had a quality at-bat his last time up, but unfortunately it did result in a ground out. Definitely looking to have another quality at-bat here with hopefully a different result. John Mark Mullins had a hot start to the season despite his 0 for 2 start in this one, as that pitch runs in and hits him. So Mullins will take his base, as that fastball was just a bit too inside and it hit Mullins directly in the front knee. So now the hopes and dreams of the Chinooks are resting squarely on the shoulders of the first baseman, Matt Magno, who has grounded out to short and flew out to right field so far in this one. And Magno has had a base hit in each of his first 2 games, which is definitely a good sign for him as pitching coach for the Bucs, coming out to talk to his pitcher. And a brief conversation. And the umpire quickly runs out there and lets the pitching coach know, hey man, I haven't got all day. We got to get this thing rolling. So let's get this thing moving. And so Matt Magno stepping up to the plate here, looking to at least get one run in here for the Chinooks as that pitch is downstairs for ball one. And he's got to be mindful of the fact that Matera has been wild in this inning. So you have to wonder if Magno is going to look for one pitch in one spot and drive it somewhere. And if not, just let it be as that ball's tapped to short and fires on to first, and a good stretch at first, and he gets him. And Magno, frustrated, flips his helmet, knows, and wishes that he could have that at-bat back, but he cannot, and so the Chinooks wind up with nothing in that inning, although did definitely work the count and work the pitch count of the pitcher Noah Matera in that one. However, regardless, the Chinooks and Bucs will head into the bottom of the fifth inning, still locked at 1-1. And we are back here live on the Chinooks Radio Network on YouTube as the Chinooks and Bucs are in a barn burner of a ball game here. The score remains 1-1 going into the bottom of the fifth as that pitch from Argamanis is in there for a called strike one as he has retired 11 in a row going back to the first inning, and he has done it in quick succession. So we will see how the Bucs attempts to counter that as that pitch is tapped foul and out of play. We want to thank everybody watching at home for their patience as the stream has been uncooperative for a lot of the evening, but it appears that it is steadied out as Argamanis fires a curveball outside for ball one. So again, we thank you for your patience and your kindness over the last hour or so that the game has been live. As Argamanis fires, and that ball is popped high on the left side of the infield as Pate Fullerton, third baseman, calling, drifting, and he makes the catch. Definitely a tough play as that ball was an absolute moonshot. As they said in the very famous movie 42, that would be a home run in an elevator shaft. As Shane Simpson, the left fielder for the Bucs, steps up to the plate here to face Brandon Argamanis, who is now retired 12 in a row, although that pitch is downstairs and gets by Keel for ball one. And so Brandon Argamanis has definitely recovered as that one's ripped to left, but right at John Graham, who only has to move a couple of steps to pull that one in. A hard hit ball from Simpson there, but unfortunately, when you're as hot as Argamanis is, sometimes it just does not matter. As that is the 13th in a row that Brandon Argamanis has retired. And again, he's doing it in quick succession, only having thrown 5 pitches thus far. As that ball is ripped at and fouled straight back. And Argamonis sets and deals, and that pitch is swung on and missed. And I can say with certainty that Brandon Argamonis is doing his job here tonight, as that pitch is just outside for ball one. As a former player and pitcher myself, this has definitely been fun to watch. And a good curveball, strike three looking, sit down. Brandon Argamonis with another quick and dominant inning for the Chinooks. And the Chinooks look to back him up here going into the top of the sixth, as this game remains 1-1. And we are back here, live on the Chinooks Radio Network here on YouTube, as the Chinooks and Bucs are locked in a close battle. The score has been tied 1-1 since the first inning, and we are now entering the top of the sixth, so it has certainly been a pitcher's duel. As Keel takes upstairs for ball one, and we have a new pitcher for the Bucs, number 19, David Christie. So it appears the Bucs have seen enough from Noah Matera, their starter for the evening, as Christie fires, and that pitch is in there for strike one. Matera had a decent ball game here tonight, although he did give up a lot of traffic on the base paths, although he definitely was able to limit the Chinooks on the scoreboard, as that pitch is downstairs for ball two. As despite giving up 6 base runners in this one, as that pitch is swung on and fouled back, and I don't think Keel wishes he swung at that one. But despite giving up a lot of traffic on the base paths, he was only forced to give up 1 run there. So a good overall outing for Noah Matera, as that pitch is drilled into the 5-6 hole for a base hit. And Joe Keel starts off this ball game, or excuse me, not this ball game, but this inning, with a base hit, and that had to feel good after a series of lineouts for Joe Keel. He's had, I believe, 4 lineouts in the last 2 games, so that had to feel good to finally get one to leak through. And now, Colby Ferris, the 5-hole hitter, stepping up to the plate. as he hit a towering fly ball to the warning. Whoa, as that pitch almost hits Ferris, and he's able to duck out of danger there for ball one. So he hit a monster towering fly ball into the warning track in left field, just narrowly missed a homer. As that one is ripped and gets above the leaping shortstop into left field for a base hit. The center fielder runs over and cuts it off as the left fielder kind of stays there in a kneeling position, figuring he was going to field that ball. So a little bit of baseball humor there. But the Chinooks are in business with 2 base runners here, although we did see this last inning. Runners on first and second, nobody out, and the Bucs were able to leave the innings scoreless. So we will see if the Chinooks change their strategy here, as Pate Fullerton, the third baseman who doubled in his first at-bat, is up to the plate, and he taps a ball to second base. Let's see if the Bucs can turn 2, and they cannot, as Fullerton hustling down the line, and Ferris tapping the glove of the second baseman as Colby went in hard on the slide, but he was just doing his job there, just making sure the second baseman knew there was no intent there. So a fielder's choice there for Fullerton, as John Graham, who has singled and walked in this one with a stolen base as well, definitely one of the guys you want to see up right now, as he's having himself a good ball game. So with runners on first and third and 1 out, Graham will definitely look to avoid the double play as that pitch is in there for a called strike 1. And a pick off to first base as Fullerton gets back safely. Definitely not a bad idea there from Christie, as I'm sure Fullerton would love to get to second base to take the double play away from the Bucs, as he's running right now and a swing and a miss to protect the runner, but it gets by the catcher. And Joe Keel looking to score, and he hesitated just for a half second, and that hesitation will cost him as he is tagged out trying to advance to home, and I guarantee you he wishes he could take that one back. As now there is runner on second and 2 outs. And I'm not sure if the hesitation was a result of his own volition or if Coach Groth took a little while to send him. Not sure. So we will not speculate on either end there, but regardless, the Chinooks now are in a position where instead of having 2 on and nobody out, they have a runner on second and 2 outs and have not yet scored a run, which has got to be frustrating to have this happen 2 innings in a row. And Graham rips that down the third base line and foul. So that pitch will be scored a wild pitch, but unfortunately one of the rare instances where a wild pitch with a runner on third base does not result in a run. And oh my goodness, that was about a 50-foot curveball, and Graham swings at it anyway. And Erickson throws on to first, and the Chinooks again, with runners on second and first and nobody out, come up empty as Graham goes down swinging to end the inning. So the Chinooks will look to bounce back on defense here, but that might be a very easy task for them, as Brennan Argamanis has come out and retired a walloping 14 in a row since the first. And we will be back here going into the bottom of the 6th. And we are back here live on the Chinooks Radio Network on YouTube as the Chinooks and Bucs are tied 1-1 here going into the bottom of the sixth as Xavier Pinellas steps up to the plate here. And that pitch is taken inside for ball two. We do have a new pitcher for the Chinooks, Nate Hemrick. He is from Earlham College. And is his first appearance of this young season. So, looking to definitely see what he can do here as that pitch is taken downstairs for a ball. Great outing from Brandon Argamanis as despite giving up a run in the first inning, he then finished that off by retiring a walloping 14 in a row in quick succession as that pitch is in there for a called strike. And now Nate Hemrick looking to pick up where his teammate Argo left off. But he's going to have to start with the top of the Bucs lineup as that ball's tapped down to first. And Magno makes a tough play there as he got a strange hop, but he makes the play for the first out of the inning, nonetheless. And so Xavier Pinellas is 0 for 3 to start the ball game. Definitely not the kind of production you want out of your leadoff hitter to start a ball game. And now Carson Racafort, the center fielder, is 1 for 2 this evening with a single, and he has scored the only run for the Bucs. And that ball is outside. So once again, a beautiful game from Brendan Argamanis as he finished the ball game, retiring 14 in a row. And the amazing part of it is he only had 3 strikeouts, so most of his outs were coming on ground balls and pop-ups. And he was working very, very quickly, so he was getting a lot of early contact, early in counts, and it was definitely, for the most part, not solid contact at all. So, Brandon Argamanis, you did a heck of a job. If your family was watching tonight, which I hope they were, you can hear it from me. It was definitely fun to watch. So, congratulations to him, and I hope he continues that success as that pitch is taken out for ball 3, I believe. And Nate Hemrick sets and fires, and that pitch is in there for a called strike. All right, now let's focus on Nate Hemrick. This is his first appearance of this young season. And something you do not see very often nowadays is he's actually wearing standard glasses to pitch, which, as a person who wears glasses myself, as that pitch is flown high into right field, but fairly shallow for Colby Ferris, who settles under it and makes the catch for out number 2. As somebody who wears glasses myself, I know that I don't think I could ever play with glasses on, at least not anymore. I used to wear glasses actually every time I played, and I would have a strap that wrapped around my whole head to keep my glasses from falling off, and after a while I just got tired of it, and I switched to contacts. So something that you definitely don't see very often. As Hemrick fires in there for strike 1. So Hemrick starting his season off with a bang here with 2 quick outs, as he hopes to get Jake Skipworth to force himself into an out here as that pitch is taken outside for a ball. Hemrick almost went in the game yesterday as he was warming up late in that ball game, as that pitch is inside for a ball. But he did not end up needing to go in as JoJo Penberthy for the Chinooks threw 3 scoreless innings to get the save, a rare 9-out save for the Chinooks last night. So Hemrick, the first out of the pen here today in this very close ball game, as that pitch is downstairs for, I believe, ball 3. So if that is the case, then a 3-1 count for Skipworth, who had a rocketing double in his first at-bat, as that pitch is tapped foul. So the count will move full. Or at least, I believe it will move full. as this is one of those moments, as I warned earlier, that I do not exactly remember what the count is, so the lack of scoreboard is really not helping me, as the umpire confirms my theory that it is a full count. So I was correct, but you never know. I am frequently incorrect, as my fiance, I'm sure, will tell you, as that is just outside for ball 4. So Skipworth works a walk, and that ends a streak of 16 in a row retired for the Chinooks. So good at bat by Skipworth to get something going for the Bucs there. As the cleanup hitter, Cole Carrig, the right fielder, will step up to the plate to look to continue this inning for the Bucs. Bucs kind of look to take inspiration from multiple teams, as they have the Pittsburgh Pirates color scheme. And obviously the Pittsburgh Pirates, for those of you who do not know, are affectionately nicknamed the Bucs by their fan base, as Pirates and Bucs are generally the same thing. But also the B on their jersey appears to take inspiration from the Boston Red Sox. So multiple teams being taken inspiration from here by the Bucs. And they also have pinstriped pants, which I suppose you could say has kind of been claimed by the New York Yankees. So perhaps a conflict of interest there for the Bucs, as that one's tapped down the first base line and foul. The count will move to 1-2. We'd like to thank you all for joining us tonight, despite our technological struggles and despite my normal talking struggles. So thank you very much for those who are watching. And we hope that you are enjoying your experience on YouTube. And we thank you because there are plenty of other things. That one's tapped out to second base, and Campbell will fire on to first as he dives, but he will not get there in time, as that is the third out of the inning. So a good first inning from Nate Hemrick to open up this season. And the Chinooks will look to answer in the top of the 7th. And we are back live here on the Chinooks Radio Network here on YouTube, as Cal Campbell will lead things off for the Chinooks, looking to break the stranglehold that this 1-1 score has had on this ball game since the very first inning. So a pitcher's duel all night long, as that one is floated out, and that's going to drop for a base hit. And Campbell hustling, making sure he's not going to get thrown out at first by the right fielder there, but he will get on. And so once again, for the third inning in a row, the leadoff man for the Chinooks will reach base. However, it has not helped the Chinooks at this point, as the last two innings, first and second with nobody out, and they have not been able to get in the run column. So Leo Harris will step up to the plate, looking to drive one. and get something going for the Chinooks. That one is swung on and missed. Curveball down, but chased by Harris. Good pitch there from David Christie, who is in his second inning of work here. And Christie fires as Campbell takes off, and the ball goes into center field. So he will be safe at second, but he holds there, and so a stolen base for Cal Campbell here in the top of the seventh. As the Chinooks look to get something going here, and so you wonder now if Harris, who has been a good bunter to start out this season, will attempt to move Campbell over and get him into a spot where a simple fly ball into the outfield will get the runner home. And Harris not bunting, as that pitch is taken just down for a ball. At least I assume it was just down, as Christie definitely wanted that one. But he did not get it. And the count will move to 2-1. And Christie quickly getting back to the mound and fires. And that pitch is swung on and missed. And Harris, frustrated at himself, knows he shouldn't have swung at that. And I might have said 2-1 there. I did mean to say 1-2, so that is a strikeout for Harris. So with a runner on second and nobody out here in the top of the seventh, Will Batts will step up to the plate. He is 1 for 3 so far this evening. And looking to get the runner home for the Chinooks. And that ball's dripped down the line, and a fair ball! And so that will definitely score a run. And Batts is going to take the turn at first and head to second. The throw will get away from the second baseman, or excuse me, the shortstop. And Will Batts with a big RBI double here in the top of the seventh to break the 1-1 tie. And the Chinooks now lead 2-1. What a huge at-bat from Will Batts there, as he was just able to sneak that down the first base line. It was in such a good spot. The first baseman had absolutely no chance at that one. And now John Mark Mullins, who has been one of the hotter hitters to open up this season for the Chinooks, looking to keep this inning going. And Mullins rips that one into right, and that's going to drop for a base hit. Batts had to wait to make sure it wasn't going to be caught, so he holds it third, and the Chinooks have it cooking here in the top of the seventh as John Mark Mullins with another base hit. He has gotten on base twice already in this one. And his on-base percentage is well above 500 to open up this season. So a great start for him as Matt Magno stepping up now, the three-hole hitter. He is also playing first base tonight. Will step up and hope to continue this rally and maybe get some insurance runs for Nate Hemrick as Mullins takes off for second, and not even a play, as he's going to easily swipe second base. And John Mark Mullins, with what I believe to be his second, possibly third stolen base of the season. We will check that here in a minute. But definitely at least his second. And Magno takes that one in there for a called strike 2, and the count quickly moves to 0-2, and Magno shaking his head going, man, I don't really know if I like that call, but you are the umpire, sir, so I do have to deal with your opinion here. And that's tapped, and it hits Magno in the batter's box, so he will be safe, but it will also be a foul ball. So a good spoil there by Magno, as he looks to, at the very least, put the ball in play and force the defense to do something with it. He is 0 for 3 thus far, as he has grounded out to short twice and flown out to right field in this one, which another fly out to right field might result in a run here, depending on how deep it's hit, as that one's way upstairs for ball 1. So the count moves to 1-2 on Magno, as the Chinooks finally breaking the scoreless 1-1 tie here, as it has been 1-1 since the first inning. It took 6 innings, but finally one of the two teams has broken through here and has put themselves in a good position to possibly win this ball game. And that pitch is swung on and missed, and they tried to tag Magno, and so they have to throw to first. And now Mullins steals a run. What a play. Will Batts. What a play. Great base running from Will Batts as he waited for the catcher to throw the ball to first. He took off. The throw had to be perfect, and it was not. It was high. And therefore, Will Batts scores a run and makes it 3-1. What a play by Will Batts. My goodness, it pays to be fast, and he had to be fast to make that one work. And it is 3-1 Chinooks. If I sound excited, it's because I am. What a great play by Batts. And Joe Keel, who singled in his last at-bat, looks to get on base again here, and that pitch is taken for a strike, and I don't think he liked that one. But nonetheless, the count is 0-1, and that pitch is... Oh, and what a play by Christie. Snagged on a hop, and that will be out number 3, but the Chinooks do score 2 here to take the 3-1 lead going into the bottom of the 7th. And we are back here live on the Chinooks Radio Network here on YouTube as Josh Harrell, that's a called strike, will step into the game. So Nate Hemrick with a great first inning to open his career, or at least his career here with the Chinooks. As now Josh Harrell will look to take over and continue this great pitching trend as that one swung on and missed. Good curveball from Harrell. And quickly, Matt Erickson, the catcher, is down 0-2 here. Erickson is 0 for 2 here as he is flown out to right and grounded out to shortstop. And that pitch is swung on and missed, says the home plate umpire, and Keel throws on to first base as he completes the strikeout. And 3 pitches and a strikeout for Josh Harrell, so a good start for him in his first appearance of the year. And you have to absolutely love the effort the pitching staff has put in this one, as looks like Garrett Ostrander looking to just make something happen for the Bucs. As he tried to square a bunt, he did not get it down, so that will be strike one. For Josh Harrell, again making his first appearance for the Chinooks this year, and he has gotten off to a good start. As Harrell working exclusively out of the stretch. Double taps that front foot, similar to another pitcher of smaller stature. That meaning myself. That's actually how I used to pitch. I used to go exclusively from the stretch and double tap my front foot, possibly even triple tap my front foot, maybe even 4 times if I was feeling lucky. As that pitch is checked, and the first base umpire says he went. So the count will move to what I believe is 1-2. And it is. Home plate umpire confirms my theory. So Harold gets, and he fires, and that ball's down, and another check swing there. This time he held up. So the count moves to 2-2 on Ostrander, who is 0 for 2 on the day with 2 groundouts, 1 to second and 1 to third. So perhaps he's looking to get something in the air just so he can adjust. We will see what Harrell gives him. And that ball's also down. So Harrell looking to get him out with off speed here, and it has not worked up to this point. So the count moves full, and we will see what Harrell will give Ostrander here on a full count. And Harrell looks like he goes into some kind of a squat right before he gets into his stretch. Perhaps it is a reminder to use his legs for power as he fires a 3-2, and that ball's popped foul and out of play. Well, when it comes to pitching, whatever works for you, definitely should go out and do it. For those of you who know the name Craig Kimbrell, a famous reliever for formerly the Braves and then the Red Sox, and now, actually briefly for the Padres and then the Red Sox, and now for the Chicago Cubs. He actually hangs his right arm down in a right angle as Harrell fires, and that's tapped out, and that's going to drop in right field for a base hit. So Garrett Ostrander with the first hit for the Bucs since the first inning, and that had to feel good for the entire Bucs offense as it has been tough sailing for them all game long. But for Josh Harrell, not a big deal here as he has a 2-run lead, and he's simply looking to get a double play, get a ground ball, get him out of the inning. But Craig Kimbrell, when he gets into his set, he actually hangs his right arm down in a right angle position. It's very, very odd looking. It's hard to explain as that ball's taken up for ball 1. It's very hard to explain without any kind of images. So for those of you who are curious, just go and look up a picture of him yourself. He actually started doing that simply because he actually injured his arm in high school. And when he was rehabbing, he started hanging his... and a pickoff is dropped by Magno, but he recovers and throws out Ostrander at second. And so Josh Harrell with a great pickoff move caught Ostrander leading. And the first hit since the first inning for the Bucs only lasts 2 pitches as he's quickly picked off and erased from the bases. And therefore, that is going to go down in the book as caught stealing. So Joe Keel getting a little help there with his numbers. For those of you that are confused, I can't explain that rule as that one swung on and missed. But to go back to what I was saying about Craig Kimbrell, he hurt his arm in high school and he started rehabbing, and for some reason when he would rest his arm in that position, it actually felt good. So his parents started telling him to simply do that when he was pitching, and he's been doing it ever since. And at this point, I believe he's 33 years old. He's got over 10 years in the big leagues, one of the most dominant relievers of this millennium and possibly any millennium. And it certainly has worked for him. But anyways, so the rule that I said that results in a caught stealing, despite the fact is this one's tapped foul, or it's not foul, to shortstop. And he throws on to first for out number 3, so Josh Harrell with a great inning. And I will finish explaining that rule when we come back in the top of the 8th inning. And we are back here, live on the Chinooks Radio Network here on YouTube, as the Chinooks lead the Bucs 3-1, going into the top of the 8th. As Colby Ferris steps up to the plate and takes strike one from David Christie, who has done well in relief, despite giving up 2 runs. And they have decided to leave him out there. And that is swung on and missed for strike 2. So, anyway, the play last inning, where Garrett Ostrander was thrown out or picked off and thrown out at second base, that's one swung on and missed. So quickly, Colby Ferris goes down swinging for out number 1. So the rule is, if Harrell had just picked off to first and the first baseman had tagged him out, it would have gone down in the books as a pickoff. But since Ostrander was actually trying to advance to second base, as that pitch is in there for a called strike. Since Ostrander was trying to advance to second base, and they tagged him out attempting to get to second base, even though the catcher never touched the ball, it does indeed go down in the book as caught stealing. So Joe Keel gets a free one there to go into his percentages for scouting, which great for him and great for the Chinooks, as that's in there for a called strike too. So the count moves to 1-2. Just simply wanted to explain that to anybody at home that was curious as to why I said that that was a caught stealing. And so the Chinooks, as that one's fouled back, have participated in 3 games, or this is the 3rd game so far this season. The first one was a pitcher's duel. And last night was anything but a pitcher's duel, as it was a 10-7 ball game. As that one is, wow, just possibly down. I couldn't even tell from this angle, but either way, very close pitch, called a ball. As Pate Fullerton with a great take there, and Christie fires, and that one's also a ball, so the count moves full. So the game last night was anything but a pitcher's duel, where the first game of the year was a pitcher's duel, and now this one, the 3rd game of the year, has been a very, very good pitcher's duel. So if this trend continues, as that one slapped foul down the third base line and out of play, if this trend continues, then I believe tomorrow's game will probably be one high-scoring ball game. So we will see if that ends up happening. As Christie fires the 3-2, and that's tapped out to first base. This might be a tough play. Pate Fullerton's very fast, and he's going to beat the pitcher to first, and he's going to reach on a single, and Christie visibly upset at himself as he did not get over nearly in time to cover the bag. And Pate Fullerton steals a single, and he gets on for the 3rd time today. As John Graham steps up, got into a good spot to drive in a run last time, but he ended up striking out. So definitely going to try to redeem himself. He is 1 for 2 with a walk in this one. And he also has a stolen base. So a good ball game thus far as Fullerton takes off. And the throw is not nearly in time as Pate Fullerton, the 3rd baseman, showing off his speed here in this one as he advances on the stolen base. And once again, we'd like to thank everyone for sticking around as the stream has given us a lot of trouble tonight, although it has been pretty good as that one's popped up to first base and just foul. But the first baseman, Skipworth, settles under it to make the catch for out number 2. So Cal Campbell stepping up to the plate here. And he is getting his first start of the year for the Chinooks. He started his Chinook career 1 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. So not a bad opening salvo for Cal. And Christie looking to snuff out this Chinook rally. Fires that one outside and low for ball 1. Bucs only using 2 pitchers up to this point, as their starter, Noah Matera, had a pretty decent ball game. He allowed a good amount of foot traffic on the base pass, as that one's taken upstairs for a ball, but he only allowed 1 run. So definitely a good enough start to keep the Bucs in the ball game in this one. However, The Chinooks cannot rest easy, as I do believe the first game of the year, the Bucs were down with this same score and ended up coming back and winning that ball game. So definitely no rest for the weary here, and the Chinooks will look to get as many runs as possible so that the Bucs eventually just say, hey man, I can't come back from this. This is way too many runs. So we will see what Cal Campbell can do in this situation, as that one's in there for a strike. And Cal Campbell with a base hit and a stolen base in his last at-bat and appearance on the base paths. Looking to replicate that result here in this at-bat. And that one's taken downstairs. And instead of a base hit, he does walk for the second time today. And Cal Campbell with a good offensive and defensive showing here in his first start of the season. So now Leo Harris will step up to the plate. He is 0 for 2 with 2 Ks. So definitely looking to reverse fortunes here. He does have a sacrifice bunt that he dropped down in the 5th inning. I'd be very surprised if they decide to bunt him here, though, with 2 outs. And Christie fires that one in there, and Harris, not a fan of that call, but nonetheless, it is a strike. So the count moves to 0-1. And that one's downstairs and outside for ball 1. Leo Harris wearing number 24. As I stated on opening day, for those of you who were there to listen to that one, my favorite player that's ever worn number 24 is the great Manny Ramirez. I think at this point, for those of you who are still watching, let's have a little bit of fun. And that one's upstairs for ball 2. And let's comment down below, who is your favorite baseball player that has ever worn the number 24? So for the few of you that are still with us this late in the ball game, comment down below, who is your favorite baseball player to ever have worn the number 24? I'm very interested to see the answers, or possibly the answer, here shortly. The Chinooks lead 3-1 here in what has been a great ball game, especially if you are a fan of pitcher duels, which I am definitely. And Leo Harris takes a ball, and that is ball 4. So back-to-back walks here for David Christie, and you have to wonder if his leash is starting to get short. And Ken Griffey Jr. has been the first comment, and that is an absolutely wonderful choice. Definitely would be my second choice. Ken Griffey Jr. was one of my favorite players as a kid, but I was a Red Sox fan, so inevitably, watching Seattle baseball was not something that occurred very often. And I mostly was able to watch Ken Griffey Jr. as a Red. Speaking of Reds, Tony Perez, another great Reds player, third baseman, and occasionally also played first base. Another great player to wear the number 24. Definitely not a bad choice there. So awesome to hear from you guys that are watching the stream. And again, we thank you for being patient tonight as Will Batts flies that one out in the center, and he will make the catch out in center. And the Chinooks do not end up scoring here with the bases loaded and 2 out, but a good inning for them nonetheless, as they were able to get some foot traffic and possibly get Christie out of this ball game. But we will have to wait for that, as now it is time for the Chinooks to hold off the Bucs offense here going into the bottom of the 8th. And if you are still around and you want to continue to put your favorite players in the comments section that wore the number 24, please do that, as I will definitely talk about it when we get back. And we are back here live on the Chinooks Radio Network as the Chinooks lead the Bucs 3-1. And Shane Simpson, the left fielder, will step up to the plate here and try and get a rally going for the Bucs as they are running out of chances against this thus far dominant Chinooks pitching staff, as Hannes Kindreich is making his second appearance of this young season. Pitched a couple of innings in his first outing as that one's ripped down to first base line, but Matt Magno is there to make the play, and that will be the first out of the inning. And a very quick one at that, as one pitch and one out. And as I said in the last inning, I would like some of you guys to comment down below some of your favorite players that have worn the number 24, and we have several of you that I will get back to, as that one's in there for a called strike. Miguel Cabrera, definitely of the current generation, as he's still killing it with the Tigers, and definitely a great choice. Former Triple Crown winner. Wow, for some reason that is more difficult to say than I gave it credit for, as that one's in there for a strike. Former Triple Crown winner. And Willie Mays, the great Willie Mays. There's definitely an argument to be had that he is the greatest of all time. So not a bad choice there, as that one's tapped foul. And Luke Langness has having a rough day at the plate so far, as he is 0 for 2 with 2 Ks. Looking to reverse his fortunes there. So that one's taken downstairs for a ball. So thank you very much to those who have commented, and anybody else who wants to comment on who your favorite player is that's worn the number 24, as many, many great ones have. I definitely welcome it. And I would also like to do these kinds of Q&As or conversations with our wonderful fan base. Pretty much every game I'm going to try my best, because definitely want to get to know you guys. I'm only here for a little while, but definitely want to get to have fun with you guys and get to know you guys more intimately. So count is, I believe, 2-2 to Luke Langness, as Hannes Kindreich fires in, and that is taken downstairs, and I guess it was 3-2 as Langness takes his base there. And so a walk to the 9-hole hitter, which is something you never really want to do as a pitcher, but it does happen every once in a while. We have somebody from Alabama chiming in on the comment section. Hello, Claire. I do have to ask, Claire, you do have the same last name as our catcher, Joe. Are you his mother, or are you related to him in any way? And I eagerly await your answer, hopefully. Otherwise, it's going to be awkward few minutes as I try to stall time waiting for your answer here. As Xavier Pinellas steps up to the plate for the Bucs, as that one's in there for a strike. A bit of an awkward transition from Joe right there, but he does get the call. Oftentimes, actually, I've seen, at least in my personal experience, that when catchers don't catch the ball, even if it is in the strike zone, umpires may not give them that, but that time he does get the benefit of the call. So we have one out and a runner on, as, wow, that pitch was close and didn't get the call there. So good pitch there from Kindreich, but that did get called a ball. He's your baby brother. Excellent. So big sister coming in here and supporting the family. That's awesome. And that one's in there for strike 2. Do we have anybody else from the East Coast? Oh, wow, from Delaware. That is amazing. It's 1 in the morning Eastern Standard Time, as that one's ripped down the line and foul. 1 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. So cheers to you for dedication to watching our games, and I thank you very much for supporting us, and I do apologize because, quite frankly, I can get annoying after a little while. So thank you for sticking it out, especially at 1 in the morning when I'm sure your patience is not really at an all-time high. So thank you very much. And And Kindrake will step and fire, and that one's tapped to first. Let's see if they can turn two. It'll be tough. And they do not. Just barely safe at first. A great effort there from Magno, as that one was not hit very hard. So that would have been a tough turn, but a good effort there. But they do get one, as Langness is retired at second base, and Pinellas will reach for the first time tonight, albeit on a fielder's choice. So Pinellas 0 for 4 in the leadoff spot. So definitely not the production they wanted out of the leadoff spot tonight, as Kindrake looking to finish this one off as a great stop from Keel, as that was a tough pitch as it bounced in front of home plate. And on turf, those curveballs can definitely bounce any direction they feel like it. And I have been asked if I'm feeling any better today, and yes, I am. Thank you very much. I've been dealing with a cold the last few days, and again, just in case anybody new was on the stream that didn't know that, I have been tested for COVID and the flu, as that pitch was in there for a strike. And they were both negative, so everybody that's been around me is safe. I've been taking medication and everything, and I got a lot of sleep last night, so I'm feeling much, much better. Thank you very much for asking. I do appreciate it. We have some people from Central Ohio, so that's really, really awesome. I believe that's only a 3-hour difference, so not quite as late as it would be on the East Coast. However, I did fly into Cincinnati. I'm not sure exactly where on the map Cincinnati is, as that one's tapped out to Fullerton at third. He fires on to second, and that will be the third out of the inning. Not exactly sure where Cincinnati is on the map, but I do not believe there was a time change in Cincinnati, so perhaps you are on the same time frame as anybody on the East Coast. But nonetheless, the Chinooks will look to protect their lead going into the top of the ninth and possibly add to it as we continue on here. And we are back here, live on the Chinooks Radio Network on YouTube, as the Chinooks lead 3-1 here against the Anchorage Bucs. And wow, that pitch almost runs in and hits John Mark Mullins. As we have a new pitcher, as that one swung on and fouled back for the Bucs. That will be Cole Kerrigan. If you've heard that name before, it's because he was the right fielder in this one. And they have brought him in to silence the Chinook bats here in this one, as time is called. And now playing right field will be Leland Wilson, number 21 for the Bucs. And wow, good pitch there from Carey, but that is taken for a ball. So Carey will come in from right field to pitch, and he seems to have a pretty decent arm, as that one is fouled off. Oh, we have a former Chinook on the feed, J. Paul Fullerton, the brother of Pate Fullerton, who is playing third base tonight for the Chinooks and having a very good game, I might say, as that one is a close pitch taken for a ball, And so we want to say a shout out to J. Paul, and he's a former Chinook himself. So, fantastic. And we have Mr. Magno, who is Matt Magno's father, and just in time, because Matt Magno is now stepping up to the plate as John Mark Mullins walks here to open up the ninth for the Chinooks. So a good at-bat there from Mullins, which has been a pattern for him to open up the season, as that one's in there for a called strike. It's wonderful to see so many parents and siblings and supporters here, especially this late. We know that it's very, very late where a lot of you are, so we extend our deepest gratitude for you sticking around and watching Chinooks baseball. And it is an honor, definitely, for me to be able to have this opportunity to call an awesome game like this one. Baseball has been a huge part of my life for the last 19 years as Mullins takes off as that one's in the center. And he turns and looks to head to third, but he decides not a good idea. So John Mark Mullins with his second stolen base of the day. And I promised earlier I would look to see how many stolen bases he's had this year, and I definitely forgot to do that, so I will do that momentarily. As I now know that is at least 3 for him on the season. And that is indeed 3 for him on the season, as that one's in there for a called strike. And Magno's trying to figure out how the heck that could be a strike, because that looked pretty outside, at least from his point of view. And so anyone else who, and that one swung on a miss, but the ball gets away from the catcher. So Magno, if he gets there, might be able to be safe, and that is and that throw just goes up and hits Magno right in the arm. The Chinooks will get a run out of that, but that does not matter right now, as we have to worry about the health of Matt Magno, although he does appear to be okay, as that throw was right up the baseline and hit him directly in the arm. So John Mark Mullins will score on that play. So one of those rare baseball moments where you don't see that every day. And actually, interestingly, that has happened twice in this one, where I believe it happened to Magno both times as well, where a runner has scored on a Magno strikeout. So, gotta love baseball sometimes, as you very rarely see runs score on strikeouts, and we have seen it twice in this one game and to the same person. Although I will say, unfortunately, that does not count as an RBI. I wish it did, but it doesn't. And so that will go down in the books as a strikeout and a run scored for John Mark Mullins. Now Joe Keel, the catcher for the Chinooks tonight, steps up to the plate as that pitch is taken outside or possibly down for a ball. And that pitch is also taken for a ball, and that will be a walk for Joe Keel. And so Joe Keel gets on base for the second time tonight. And now stepping up to the plate will be Colby Ferris, who is 1 for 4 tonight, although one of his outs was a very loud one. as he flew out to the track in left field is wow. I am not so sure about that one. However, regardless, that is called a strike, as Ferris was looking to bunt there and get the runners over despite their being a clear other alternative, as that pitch is popped foul. And I'm one of those people that believe that if you're going to put a guy in the 4-hole or in the 5-hole or in the 3-hole, that they should be bunting as little as possible whenever it can be avoided. I understand that, runners on second and first and nobody out is an opportune time to bunt, and I do understand. But now, however, you've put one of your better hitters in a count where he has to kind of do that, as he is there and beats it out. So he does end up avoiding the double play, but he's put in a position where he has to swing at a pitch where he otherwise might not have, and almost ground himself into a double play. But regardless of my opinions on the matter, as they look over at Ferris, and he gets back safely. Regardless of my opinions on the matter, the game will move on, and Pate Fullerton, who's had a good ball game thus far, has gotten on base 3 times, steps up to the plate here. With 1 out and runners on the corners for the Chinooks. And that pitch is swung on and missed for strike 2. And one thing you're going to get out of me at all times, guys and gals that are listening at home, we're here to get my honesty. I'm never going to badmouth anyone. I'm never going to... That swung on and missed for strike 2. Never going to badmouth anyone. I'm never going to say anything negative about an individual or their performance, unless it is simply statistical. But I will give you my opinions on how, at least in my 19 years, is wow, that one's in there for strike 3. And Pate Fullerton visibly did not like that call, but nonetheless, he is rung up here, and there are 2 down in the top of the 9th. I'm going to give you my honest opinion on my 19 years of experience in the game and the way I see things. Now, granted, there was a moment in my college career where we had bases loaded and nobody out, and we were down by 1 run at home, and our coach decided to bunt with our 3-hole hitter and 4-hole hitter and didn't score a run, and we ended up losing that ball game. So perhaps I'm just a little bit biased because bad things have happened to me in that scenario, as that ball's ripped down the line. And Ferris was taken off to second. Looked like he had a pretty good jump there. But Graham's swinging at that one. Got the pitch he wanted and just missed it. And again, John Graham stepping up to the plate here. He's playing left field tonight. He is 1 for 3 with a walk and a stolen base. Bit of a slow start to start the season for John Graham, as that one's in there for a called strike. As he's only had 2 hits on the season thus far. Although, granted, I've seen worse starts. So we will see how he adjusts, as that one's popped up down the left side of the infield. And Garrett Ostrander, the shortstop for the Bucs, will make the catch. So the Chinooks do get 1, although they do leave runners stranded on the corners, but they do get 1, as they will now look to close things out in the bottom of the 9th, as they lead 4-1 in this one. And we are back here live on the Chinooks Radio Network as the Chinooks are looking to close things out here against the Bucs. And that pitch is swung on and missed for strike 2. As Reese Lansville has come into the ball game for the Chinooks. As this is his second appearance of the season, and in the same role he was in last time, which is looking to close out a game for the Chinooks. As that one is hit high in the air into left field, but playable for John Graham, who comes in and makes the catch for the first out of the inning. So Jake Skipworth ends the game 1 for 3 with a double and a walk. So not a bad game for him. I think it's safe to say he still remains one of the hottest hitters in the league thus far this season. Although I definitely think he would like to have that at bat back. And now stepping up will be number 13, Cole Carrig, who is batting for himself despite being replaced in right field. And I'm not sure how ABL rules work, but I suppose I would be surprised if that wasn't a legal move at this point. And Reese Lansville fires, and that one's downstairs. And Lansville fires a fastball outside. So Lansville struggling to find the strike zone here early on in this inning, at least in this at-bat in particular. We will see what adjustments he can make as this inning goes along. And that one's in there for a strike. Chinooks are clinging to a 3-run lead here, so it's a closer's dream to have a 3-run cushion with 1 inning to go. And I'm sure, as any closer will tell you, that's where you make your money. Those are some of the easiest saves you'll get, as that one's in there for strike. And Carey did not like that one. But nonetheless, he has to stay in there. And Reese Lansville must have heard me when I was saying that he wasn't doing well finding the strike zone, because he has pounded it in there. And let's see what he comes with on 3-2, as that one's outside for ball 4. So a walk here for Carrig. So the Bucs have at least a semblance of life going into this inning here, as Matt Erickson, the catcher, will step up to the plate. He has struggled at the plate thus far, despite coming into the season, or at least coming into this game, one of the hotter hitters on the team. He is 0 for 3 today with a strikeout. And looking to change that here, as that one's way outside for ball 1. I will definitely say that closers typically are not your most conservative and strike-throwing pitchers on the planet. So it is not uncommon for closers to struggle throwing in the strike zone at times. That one's popped foul and just out of play. As many of the great closers of the game today occasionally struggle to throw strikes. Aroldis Chapman has had his struggles. Craig Kimbrell has had his struggles. Says a pick off to first, and Carey gets back safely. Liam Hendricks has had his walking issues, although this year he's not barely walking anyone. Anybody who is old enough to remember Brian Wilson, as that one's popped foul, possibly playable for Keel. And it will not be playable, as it just gets out of play. Anybody old enough, or possibly even young enough, to remember Bryce Wilson for the Dodgers? Or not for the Dodgers, excuse me, for the Giants. Although he did end up with the Dodgers, I do believe. His catchphrase was "Fear the Beard." At least before James Harden ended up taking that mantra. He often had his struggles with walks. And Lansville fires it in there for strike 3. And Matt Erickson just has to walk back to the dugout in frustration as he's going to end this ball game 0 for 4 with 2 Ks. Definitely not the game he wanted. And that will be 2 down. So Lansville 1 out away from sealing the deal here and moving the Chinooks to 3-0 on this young season, putting themselves squarely in first place. Although that has not happened yet, as Garrett Ostrander would like to change that, and that is swung on and missed. Good curveball from Lansville. Very few closers over the last 20 to 30 years have not really had their struggles with walks. The only one that I can think of off the top of my head is Mariano Rivera. Even throughout his whole career, never walked anybody, as that one's tapped out to second, and the Chinooks will move to 3-0 on this young season as Lansville gets his second save in as many tries, and the Chinooks move to 3-0. What a start to the season these Chinooks have had as they go on to win this ball game 4-1. A pitcher's duel all the way, but the Chinooks were able to execute when the opportunity arose where the Bucs simply did not have that chance. Congratulations to the Chinooks as they get on to get their 3rd win of the season. As Brendan Argomanis with a fantastic game today. 5 innings, only 1 run. Absolutely dominant outing for Argo. And the rest of the pitching staff came in and shut things down when Argo gave them the ball, and the offense did just enough to win with a couple of nice plays, nice base running plays, specifically from Will Batts as he stole a run off of a strikeout from second, which is something that you definitely do not see often. But either way, I would like to thank you all for joining us this evening. This is Tyler Lopes and my partner Aaron Davis, and we are signing off for the evening, and we hope to see you tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, as I do believe the Chinooks will face the Pilots. So from all of us to all of you, here in beautiful Eagle River, Alaska, thank you, and we will see you soon.